319. Reset.
They hand it off again. Sailors into the end zone for the touchdown. If you can do that, maybe you don't need Butler, at least not right now. And the Battlehawks strike first.
Well, we have seen the two things that Anthony Beck desperately wanted to see. We've seen violence from the offensive line, and we've seen a quarterback willing to get outside of the pocket.
From the one, they hurry up. Wilkins dives over, gets the touchdown. St. Louis scores again. What a start from Manny Wilkins and this Battlehawk team.
Where we at?
And it's 12-0 St. Louis. Man, if you're the head coach, you're liking what you're seeing so far.
Super challenge on a conversion that ended up being the difference in the game.
And this one gives them first and goal. Manny Wilkins diving into the end zone for the touchdown.
Get the pass, get the pass, get the pass.
Second rushing touchdown of the game.
Little read on the outside. And this is exactly what Anthony Beck was wanting, was a quarterback that could make things happen with his legs, and how dangerous it was. And Beck told us, Brock, before the game, that he was tired of watching Adrian Martinez run around on his defense last year.
Wide 80, right side.
Hands it off, Jarvian Howard. What a run, nothing between him and the end zone. Can he get blockers? Howard with a big run to seal it off. 74 yards, and there they go.
Well, this linebacker right here has to be responsible for this gap that's opened up. But when he vacates, now all of a sudden you just have a huge lane right down the middle of the defense. That is a lack of gap integrity in the defensive front, and then you exploit that as an offense. If you get out of position against this St. Louis team, bang, they make you pay. That's a mark of a good team, a well-coached team.
That's also something that just messes with the defensive mind.
The Sailors switching sides at the end, out around the edge, breaks free for a touchdown. Along with Phil McGegan, he moves the tight end in, so he changes the play. So now the tight end is in, and now he's going to move the back over as well. So now the back is over here. Why? Because they see a little bit of a crease that they can get because of those defensive line techniques. They get the blocks that they need, and Sailors is into the end zone. What a great job of recognition from the offensive coordinator, Phil McGegan, quarterback Manny Wilkins. I think, too, I would go for it on fourth here. Run it a couple of times. It's a run on another third and goal. Sailors reaching. Ball comes out. And San Antonio's on top of it. Lonnie Phelps ends up with the ball on the reach from Jacob Sailors. But is he down? But if this holds up, what a huge stop. This will be a great angle. I never thought that Sailors was down because there was players under him. So the whole question is the ball over? I think it's actually going to be over the goal line, because you can tell where his hands were. It was over the plane of the goal line. Then he was contacted and it came loose. But as a runner, the play is dead as soon as that ball touches the plane of the goal line.
With control of the ball, broke the goal line plane for a touchdown.
That's exactly right. The expedited review through Dean Blandino in the command center, and here you go. He's got control. He's a runner. Plays dead right there. It's a touchdown. The ball is over the plane of the goal line. Then the 42 catches in his career in the NFL with the Jets. Former Baylor Bear. Sailors with the bounce outside for his third touchdown of the game. Couple couple of San Antonio Brahmas here, and they just never maintain the edge. So first, the edge defender on the line of scrimmage, he crashes down. Someone's got to replace him on the edge. So no one now has outside contain, and as Sailors bounce out, that is far too easy right there. Darius Phillips, he doesn't stand his ground. The edge closed down, but you've got to credit Sailors because he's got the vision and that jump cut to get out to the right side.
Turbo set.
Play action. Wilkins with time. And he's going to use his legs and get a big chunk play out of it. Still going down the sideline. Would you look at this from Manny Wilkins? I think DC assumed he was stepping out of bounds. The next thing you know, he's striding down towards the goal line.
I'm going to give you a spot.
And this is what I love. You know, if you play DC, you're going to get a lot of man coverage. He's trying to take a shot downfield. Before he scrambles here, look at the recognition. All man coverage, nobody on him. Breaks a tackle from Anthony Hines, takes off.
Let's watch the sideline here. Dean, watch Frank. 3rd down and 10 after DC just had their 6th tackle for loss. Wilkins pressured, but lofts it towards the end zone. How about it? Battlehawks, big time. Frank Darby.
That was that double move, but watch the block by Jarvion Howard. Just going to get a little piece, just a piece of the blitzing linebacker there. That gives just that half a second extra for Manny Wilkins to get the ball off to Frank Darby down the sideline. And this is a great play on the ball in tight man coverage.
Duggan into the end zone. Max Duggan.
I remember reading this end man on the line of scrimmage. When he crashes, just know that you're not getting brought down with a shoulder tackle. That's the TCU version of Max Duggan, the physical, competent runner. We didn't see a ton of last week. He's looking more like his old self this week so far. One-on-one coverage.
2nd and goal. Duggan. And he makes his way through. It's another touchdown for Max Duggan.
And then it was the bread and butter for St. Louis, giving Max Duggan the ball, letting him use his speed and physicality. And this is what we haven't seen a ton of, the accuracy in the quick game for Duggan. Great ball there, low and outside.
180.
2nd and 9. There is the slant. There is the go. There is the target. And here goes Hakeem Butler. DJ Miller fell down. And big Hakeem Butler delivers. Great job by Max Duggan of seeing this safety. If he stays inside, you got the one-on-one on the outside. He does, so nobody over the top for Hakeem Butler. Just throw it up and let your guy go make a play on the double move. You see DJ Miller falling there on the double move. A wide open Hakeem Butler, and welcome back to the UFL. It was actually good coverage initially by Miller before he fell. You just can't make a mistake going up against 88. Hakeem Butler, who was a 4th-round draft pick by the Arizona.
180.
They go with the pop pass, and it's an option 2 pass, and launching it is Jackson. Oh, and they hit on it! They hit it on again! Hakeem Butler, a trick play! Blake Jackson to Hakeem Butler! What a show they're putting on here in St. Louis!
Look at Hakeem Butler on Adonis Alexander right there, and you're going to get Blake Jackson on this little jet sweep. He's going to do a great job after getting the handoff and getting his eyes downfield. He's got pressure in his face. He's not a quarterback, but he steps up, makes the throw, and oh, by the way, he was an All-American quarterback back in D3. Mary Hardin-Baylor. So not a quarterback for St. Louis, but has it in his genes, and you saw it right there. That was an absolute dime. And Hakeem Butler very quickly looking like the best receiver in the UFL. Now 2 receptions for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. And a dime by Blake Jackson.
Let's see what he can do here on 3rd and 6. Going up top, looking for Butler. Caught! Flag on the play, but the touchdown, if it stands, right over Jaden Price.
When you're batting 1,000, and again, once your best wide receiver, or in this case your big wide receivers on the inside in the slot, he has more room to work, and it's a more difficult play for the defensive back who gets a bit lost in space. And that time Duggan does give him the air. Brock, you heard him say to Butler on the sideline, I got to give you a chance, I got to get the ball up. He did it on that time.
Well, big touchdowns for Butler. There's Jerome Clapp from Cap.
So situations like this won't happen.
And Frank Darby was right there by the crossbar. This time it's Duggan across the goal line, plunging in. And on 3rd and goal from the 10, here comes St. Louis, the early score.
Max Duggan, he has not been effective throwing the football, but he has been incredibly effective.
The 1980s, on 2nd down, Duggan wants to throw it, and he does, delivers the goods, and they are grabbed. Pearson came back a little bit for the touchdown. And from 13 yards out, here comes Max Duggan. He's entered the chat. He looked like a different quarterback on that drive.
Certainly did, and the time that he was given was tremendous as well. Court Pearson, you're going to get a couple of short routes from these.
No question about that. Look out! The go zone. Max Duggan says, period, exclamation point, I got you again.
Able to run it in. Watch this. Here you've got all 4 of these players, 2 safeties and 2 linebackers, way separated, which means look at the middle of the field. It's wide open. Why? Because it's an empty formation. There's no backs in the backfield with Max Duggan. They did it on the previous snap. They ran that sweep over to the right side and scored a touchdown. Here they spread things out, and Duggan sees the middle of the field. It's wide open. And right now, not quite feeling that rush of the Battlehawks as it gets to him on that sack.
1st and goal from the 12. On the read, Duggan for the pylon, touchdown.
Back run. As we take a look at the pylon to see if Duggan was able to touch that pylon with the football, he sure did. Again, this guy has a nose for that goal line, the competitive spirit of number 14. He's able to get to that pylon, get the ball into the end zone, and another rushing touchdown for Max Duggan. Duggan's threat.
Uh-oh, it's going the other way. Snared out of the air and returned by Callahan O'Reilly.
Top. Well, here's the drone behind the quarterback. You see his eyes went right the entire time, and then the drone needs to make a quick U-turn because we're going the other way for 6.
Touchdown. He walks in, Jacob Sailors. His 5th touchdown of the year.
His patience, even in the short yardage. He's going to the right, and then he sees the hole back to the left. Watch right here, a little jump cut, boom. And he just walks his way in as the defense over-pursued on that side. And then for the conversion, the point after, it's just toughness. And he runs through an arm tackle, puts the ball into the end zone for 1 point. St. Louis with the lead.
So, Jamar, it's on you again.
Boy, what a game we've had between these 2 heavyweights. Just as Skip Holtz was talking about these.
180,
Howard. Did he cross the goal line? He did. Touchdown, St. Louis. Ten yards to the 38. Corbin through a hole, and Corbin picks up 8 yards. Ball came out. Ball came out and is scooped up by Micah Abraham. He's going the other way. No flags on the play. Touchdown, St. Louis. St. Louis, Abraham with the defensive play, forcing it out and taking it all the way home.
stop, go ahead, envy me. I'm Raps MVP, and I ain't going nowhere, so you can get to know me. On the grill of my...
180, right side.
Duggan, his arm hit, but he still completes it, and it's Darby into the end zone for the touchdown.
Great adjustment here. Watch on the outside. He's going to kind of hook over, and then he's going to come back to the football. As Duggan goes onto the outside, he comes back to the football, and then he's able to get into the end zone. That's exactly what Anthony Becht wanted to see, not only from his offense, but from his quarterback. Like I said, that was likely Max Duggan's last series before the postseason, and he wanted to leave the field with a sweet taste in his mouth, and throwing for a touchdown is exactly what you want. 12 of 17, 130.
180, 187.
Here comes the blitz, first play of the fourth quarter. Silvers, oh, wide open. Butler, touchdown.
I mean, just a full pump fake on the outside, and he sells this double move. So you see that, just a little slant and go, and the ball is up right away, and it's an easy touchdown for Butler. Watch this, he totally sells it. That ball even comes separated from his offhand a little bit, and the corner bites on that side. Sean Fresh and Phil McGagan loving it, just giving a little shimmy up in the press box. Is going to be in St. Louis regardless. You know, who plays quarterback, who plays running back? Do we see Sailors? How about Latulis?
Runs like that will certainly make its case. Kayvon Latulis.
Love to see that. Teammates giving Latulis some love here. And again, watch the patience, and then he's just going to explode right down the middle of the defense. Great job up front, sealing things off, and then some poor effort in tackling on the outside. There's no doubt. There was a couple of players there in the defensive secondary that had a shot. But again, it's just running hard. Latulis cuts right down the middle of the defense and forces them to make a play, and he gets right up the field and into the end zone ultimately. And again, this St. Louis team over 400 yards of offense tonight. That's the second time this year they've been over 400 yards. They did that in week 1 against Houston, and this game has been eerily similar to that night against the Roughnecks.
Yeah, we did that game in Houston week 1, and what we saw, like we see tonight, was dominant offensive line play. They were able to run the ball. They were able to protect their quarterback.
Down in plus territory before Howard went for 20 on the ground. And after the flag, 1st and goal, and Howard plows ahead for a touchdown. So the UFL's best rushing offense. St. Louis punches it in to start this night.
Jarvion Howard, again, we're seeing it right here. It's just a simple little inside zone right here. You're going to have this tight end, number 84, Jake Sutherland, come back. And
St. Louis knocking on the door for the first time tonight. Sailors into the end zone for their first score tonight. Converts it, and just like that, the Battlehawks are back in this football game with the winner moving on. 3rd and 5.
180, 187.
Here comes the blitz. Silvers gets rid of it, one-handed by Butler. Touchdown, St. Louis.
Form Blake Williams, he's going to blitz over here on this side, right? And so what do you have? Well, you have one-on-one with Akeem Butler, and Akeem Butler is able to win on the one-on-one. Keandre Thomas is beat, and Butler is able to reach out that big right hand, and he knocks that ball back to himself, and Silvers and the Battlehawks get a score that they desperately needed. Easily their best offensive series of the game. 7th play inside of the 5.
Duggan gets it into the end zone. Finally on 4th and goal. So the remaining fans have a little something to cheer about as they get ready to slide into the offseason.
On this right side, you're going to get blocking down, and then you're going to get kind of these lead blocks up in front. And then it's all on Duggan, and they clear a path, and number 14 walks into the end zone. Too little